A few weeks ago, I posted a video. It had smooth animations, clean transitions, polished motion design. A lot of you asked, what tool did you use to make that? Adobe After Effects, Motion, CapCut. None of those. I wrote it. Every frame, every animation, every transition written in React. That video was built with something called Remotion. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that's even possible, and more importantly, why it changes everything. Here is the thing about most Remotion videos on YouTube. They show you an animation, maybe a bouncing logo, maybe a text reveal, and then they say, look how easy this is. And you watch it, you think, okay, cool, and something feels off because they never answered the real question. Why does this exist? Why would a developer, someone who writes code for a living, choose to make videos with React? That's the question nobody actually answering, and that's exactly what we are going to fix right now. Remotion is not a video editor. Let me say that again, because it matters. Remotion is not a video editor. It's a rendering engine, a system where every single frame of your video is a React component. Think about what actually means. Every animation you see, every transition, every number counting up, every graph that draws itself across the screen is a function, a pure deterministic mathematical function of time. Frame 1 looks like this, frame 60 would going to look like this, frame 300 will look like this, not because someone moved a keyframe on a timeline, but because the math says so. This is not a video editing, that is engineering. Let's start with the foundation. In Remotion, everything is driven by one thing, the frame. Your video plays at 30 frames per second. That means in a 10-second video, there are 300 frames, and at every single one of those frames, Remotion calls your React component with one frame, with one prop, current frame. That's it. Your entire animation logic lives inside that component, and it re-renders 300 times to produce 300 images. Those images becomes your video. You're not dragging clips, you are defining behavior. Now how do you actually animate something? With a function called interpolate, and once you understand the function, everything clicks. Interpolate takes a number, usually the current frame, and maps it to another range. Frame 0, opacity 0. Frame 300, opacity 1. That's a fade in. You're not drawing the animation, you are describing the relationship between time and value, and that relationship, that mapping is the animation. But math can feel mechanical, stiff, robotic. Real motion has weight. It overshoots, it settles, it breathes. And that's what Spring gives you. Spring is a physics simulation. You give it a frame number, a mass, a damping value, and it returns a value that moves naturally, like an object with actual physics. No Bezier curves to fiddle with, no easing drop-downs, just parameters that describe how the physics feels. Stiff spring equals snappy motion. Soft spring would be floaty organic movement. And because it's just a math, you can apply it to anything. Position, rotation, scale, color, blur, opacity. Physics-driven design in code. Now, here is where it starts to feel like real engineering. In Remotion, you build components, a title component, a chart component, a lower third component, that's the name and the title bar you see in the news broadcast. Each one is isolated, reusable, composable, and then you arrange them inside compositions, which are basically your scenes. You define when each component starts, how long it runs, where it sits on the canvas. It's like React layout, but for time. And because it's all components, you can import data, fetch an API, read a spreadsheet, and your video reacts to that data. Not metaphorically, literally. Okay, everything I just showed you, that's still just one video. Here is where Remotion becomes something else entirely. Imagine you are a company, you have 10,000 customers, and you want to send each one of them personalized year-in review video, their name, their stats, their highlights. With traditional video editing, that's impossible. or you hire a team, or you use some janky template tool that looks like everyone else's. With Remotion, you write a script, you pass a JSON object with a customer's data, and you render, loop in 10,000 times. 10,000 unique personalized videos generated programmatically like a software build. No editor, no timeline, no drag and drop, just a system. This is how GitHub makes those your year in code videos. This is how news organizations auto-generate video summaries. This is how data journalism creates visual stories from spreadsheets. They're not making videos, they are shipping them. Here is what I want you to take away from this. Video has always been a creative medium, something you made by hand, by feel, by instinct. Remotion does not replace that, but it opens a door that most people don't even know exists. A door where video becomes a system, where animations are logic, where scale is just a loop, where your video is as maintainable, versionable, and reproducible as your code base. Most people will keep dragging keyframes. Most people will keep exporting .mob files and re-rendering from scratch every time something changes. But some of you, the ones who see software not just as a product but as a way of thinking, you're going to look at video directly now. You're going to look at video differently now, not as something you edit, but as something you engineer. And that changes everything. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, I get the concept, but what does the actual workflow look like? How do you go from a blank file to a fully animated, polished video? What's the folder structure? How do you think about scenes? How do you handle time? How do you handle timing when things get complex? In the next video, I'm going to show you my entire flow, screen recorded, no cuts, no magic, the exact process I used to build that Claude video. From the first line of code to the final render, the components I built, the mistakes I made, the moment it all clicked. Hit subscribe and the bell or you'll get genuinely miss it. And if this one shifted something for you, the like button is a small thing that actually helps a lot. I'll see you in the next one.